fact that it's in the 90s with those high dew points, it still feels like the triple digits outside. All right, so looking around the rest of the area, you can see much of the same here in the metroplex. 93 in Fort Worth, Love Field 92 as well. We have a couple of triples out to the west, Mineral Wells checking in at 100, and then off to the east where there's a lot of humidity out there, temperatures staying in the 80s this afternoon. But the main culprit as to why we're probably not going to hit 100 today is that higher humidity. The dry line stalled just off to our west. It's actually retreating back to the west now. Because of that, we're stuck in this Gulf moisture, which is keeping a lid on our temperatures this afternoon. But still, with temperatures in the 90s, dew points in the 70s. It feels very hot out there. In fact, I just stepped outside a few minutes ago. It feels like New Orleans out there with those heat indices back around 100, all that humidity as well. And you can see it's much of the same around the rest of the area with that heat index right around 100 as well. But either way, when you factor in the humidity, it matters. Assuming the temperature got to 100 today, it would be a lot drier out there. It would still feel like around 100, but with temperatures in the 90s and dew points in the 70s, still got the same result. It feels like 100 degrees either way. It is hot this afternoon. But for us to tie that record this afternoon, we do have to hit 95. So far, as of right now, we've only hit 94 degrees. Around the rest of the state of Texas, it's much of the same this afternoon. Notice lower 90s here in North Texas, but back off to the west behind that dry line, it's much hotter. 98 Wichita Falls, 97 Abilene, Del Rio, 104. But for the most part around the state, much of the same temperatures have stayed a little bit cooler than what was forecast this afternoon. But just like here in North Texas, around the rest of the state, it is the same deal. Plenty of humidity this afternoon from Austin to San Antonio, and that's why those temperatures haven't been as hot as forecasted. Another reason, too, is take a look at satellite. This is across the state of Texas. Notice got plenty of high clouds surging in from the southwest. There's some smoke mixed in as well from those wildfires in Mexico. Kind of looks like that day that we had all of that dust outside a couple of months ago with all of that cloud cover and smoke. So that's another factor as to why temperatures haven't gotten quite as hot. But either way, you factor in the moisture, it still feels plenty hot out there this afternoon with widespread heat indices in the upper 90s to around 100. Because of that, we do have heat advisories and heat warnings in effect down in central Texas from Del Rio to San Antonio and over towards the Austin area as well. And some of our fringe southern counties, Hill, Navarro included in that heat advisory. Either way, if you're going to be outdoors today or the next couple of days, make sure you drink plenty of water, take breaks from the heat as well, just so that you avoid any heat exhaustion or heat stroke as well. Either way, it'll be hotter down in central Texas. Temperatures likely in the triples later on today, but tomorrow there's another opportunity for that as well, likely getting back up to around 100 once again from San Antonio over towards Austin as well. And that'll be the case over the next several days as well, with temperatures in the upper 90s to around 100 in Austin, but also in San Antonio as well. Back here in North Texas, our temperatures not quite as extreme. We'll be in the lower to mid 90s over the next several days. And overall, over the next several days, through at least the end of May, we're likely to stay warmer than average as well. Let's get over to Dan Godwin now for the latest on that heat.
There are certain workplaces where you just can't escape the rising temperatures. That's what brought us to Hurtado Barbecue Dallas today, Dallas Farmers Market, to see how the smokehouse crew is dealing with the heat. You've got a continuous fire going that demands plenty of firewood to make sure the flames remain at the right intensity. As we open the door of one of the smokers, you can really feel that rush of heat. The smokehouse manager says being around these for hours at a time can get a bit intense.
Oh, it can get very intense, very hot, very quickly. The moment we get these smokers running and they start producing heat, we will start sweating.
And you do need to take periodic breaks, inside the restaurant?
Oh yeah, roughly every hour or so, one of us will go and take a break inside, cool off, try to wipe that sweat off, take a drink of water, just do whatever we can to keep cool in this weather.
And the folks here will tell you, to a certain extent, you can acclimate to the higher temperatures here, but you also need to exercise care, especially on a day like today. At Dallas Farmers Market, Dan Godwin, Fox 4 News.
And we're taking a look outside right now. A hot afternoon with temperatures in the 90s. Will we see record-breaking heat today? We'll have the latest on that coming up.
Welcome back to Texas Weather Live. Ali Toriano here in the Forewarned Weather Center. Yeah, we've been talking about this heat, getting ready for it over the last several days. So far, 94 is the official high at DFW, thanks to that dry line kind of sloshing back and forth. The record is 95. We may be able to still get to that record, but I think what's more important is to know what that feels like is if you are outdoors. Many of us have that feels like in the upper 90s and low triples. So 101 is the current heat index at DFW, and those numbers still quite high because of the amount of mugginess that's in the air, which is still, you know, it could be dangerous if you have to be outdoors for an extended period of time. We're likely to see some of the hottest official temperatures in our western zones, where a few spots have already hit 100 today. Now, I will tell you, even though we're not shattering records, we're likely going to keep this heat around for quite some time. There's really no cool down expected anytime soon. So with that being said, this is happening a little bit earlier than what we'd like to see, but plenty of heat on the way here, not just today, but for the next few days. Alex Boyer joining me now to talk about what he's been dealing with outside. And it looks like you're in some air conditioning currently, Alex.
That is right, Ali. I am taking full advantage of being in the AC for right now alongside my photographer here. You know, we're looking at the dashboard inside the car, Ali. It's saying 95 degrees, of course, a little warmer than what you all have been forecasting. But nonetheless, when it gets to be about this temperature, hot feels like hot. Now I'm going to flip around the camera so you can get a look at our current situation here. You can see we are headed into downtown Dallas, about to get on Woodall Rogers. You know, earlier today, my photographer Quincy and I were out talking to folks out and about here in downtown Dallas. I chose to wear shorts today, so did Quincy. He also had a towel with him. I can tell you that that was all good decision making on our part. Today felt like a slow simmer, you know, getting hotter as the days went on. I can tell you that I spoke with the owner of a food truck in Clyde Warren Park today, and she tells me that the temperature inside of her truck is about 20 degrees higher than outside. All right, tell me, Eloisa, I see a little bit of sweat on the brow. What's today feeling like?
Well, I think this is one of our first hot days since, you know, back then, but I'm starting to feel it.
What is it like in the truck when it's like this?
It's extremely hot. You got to remember we have a fryer going, the flat top going. My husband, he uses swamp coolers, and we put ice in them, and that helps a little bit.
The good news is I see a bunch of customers today. I mean, that's the goal, right?
That is the goal. And today we were pleasantly surprised because they were all waiting for us. So that says something.
Yeah, I will say, Ali, if you're going to have to be out working in these conditions, at least Eloisa is making some money today, which of course is the goal, while staying safe. Again, as we come back out here live, you can see a slow go during the very start of rush hour traffic. Again, as we head towards Clyde Warren Park through downtown Dallas, I can tell you that Eloisa says she does not have an AC unit in the truck, or does have one rather, but she says between actually having that fryer going as well as having the windows open in order to make those sales, she says it basically does no good. She's hoping though that this isn't a preview, Ali, for what we may expect later this spring and summer.
I know, you
Back to
know,
you.
there's really no way to tell exactly what our summer is going to be like, but most of them here, we know they're going to be hot. We're going to have several months of temperatures in the 90s and potentially some triple digits. You know, and another point, Alex, out on the road, as things start to heat up, we often see a lot of older cars break down. So when people are out on the road, you'll want that emergency kit in your car. Having some snacks, some extra water, always a good idea too.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. I mean, again, as we flip over the camera so you can see, you know, the traffic situation. As I mentioned, you know, it's not even 4 o'clock yet. Still a lot of cars on the roadways already. And I think to your point, just like we aren't necessarily prepared, our bodies aren't prepared for what it's going to feel like when we get a first day like today. Same thing with the cars. A lot of times they aren't really equipped and weather ready for the summer heat. And then we get on these long commutes like we see right now. And to your point, depending on the condition of the car, sadly, you'll see those folks that are broken down on the side of the road waiting for some help.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alex Boyer, reporting live for us this afternoon. I want to switch gears briefly because there's a lot happening. We've had some smoke in the air here, but check out this from Minnesota, burning thousands of acres. So far, about 40,000 acres in the northeastern portions of the state. This has started over the last 2 days, and these are unfortunately not contained at all. So not only is that part of the country very hot, they're dealing with numerous fires and plenty of smoke too. Current wildfires, we've been quite fortunate here, but I'll show you on our maps. There are several, and some of those larger ones in southern parts of Canada, right along the border, and then also into Minnesota, which is why all that smoke is there as well. A little bit closer to home, you know, we've had a decent amount of rain lately, and there aren't as many fires across the state of Texas, but in Mexico, in the northern parts of Mexico, there are several large ones. So because of our southwest winds aloft, we've tapped into some of that smoky air, and that's why that haze is across much of the state today and has helped temper ever so slightly those afternoon temperatures. And the smoke is likely going to stick around as we go into Thursday as well as Friday. And then we should start to see some of that move out of here by the upcoming weekend. So parts of the country dealing with wildfires, other parts of the country dealing with some big time flooding, and that has been the case across portions of the mid-Atlantic. Major floodwaters taking over parts of Maryland and Virginia starting yesterday, and there's still some flood concerns today. Roads being washed out. Unfortunately, tons of high water rescues, and at this point, a known death of a child in Virginia yesterday being swept away by those floodwaters. It's so important we talk about turnaround, don't drown. Very sad situation there, and most of these areas received anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rainfall in a very short period of time. And we're likely to see another 1 to 3 in these same locations through the next couple of days because of the overall weather pattern that has set up. Here's what the lower 48 looks like. We have this ridge that's hanging out just to our south, keeping us relatively quiet, kind of wet and unsettled, going through portions of the Rockies and then into the mid-Atlantic and northeast. The remnants of that area of low pressure still going strong, and specifically some intense thunderstorms moving through parts of North Carolina as well as Virginia right now. So the areas that have had so much flooding over the last 24 hours are likely going to be dealing, unfortunately, with more of that later on today. Those that are in Minnesota, where we could use a little bit of a rain, some showers and storms there to help with those wildfires. But what I'm a little more concerned about is the severe threat that's going to ramp up starting in the northern plains later today. We already got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for parts of South Dakota. Talking about severe threats, it is May, and it's not Texas, at least this time around, that has the severe weather. The best chances for that will be in the northern plains today. Low chance in the mid-Atlantic. And then tomorrow, the severe threat is shifting east. We're talking an enhanced risk. That's a 3 on the 1 to 5 scale from Minneapolis to Chicago, northern parts of Indiana. So a decent likelihood of strong to severe weather across that part of the country tomorrow. And then as we go into Friday, we're likely to still have a decent severe threat, just not necessarily here. Parts of Tennessee, as well as Missouri, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio. So a lot of areas, many states will be under the gun here over the next couple of days when it comes to severe threats. We, however, are just dealing with the heat and low potential for some rain and thunderstorms for the rest of your work week. Let's talk about it hour by hour. You can see that first round of storms moving through parts of the Dakotas, some of that into Minnesota tonight. Tomorrow, things really start to get active through the Great Lakes and Ohio River Valley. And then as we go into Friday, we'll introduce some low rain and thunderstorm chances. And it's really not until our weekend that the chance for showers and storms start to go up. And we all know this time of year, it doesn't take much for a storm to be strong or severe. The one good thing is that with more clouds and rain in our forecast, we are likely to see those afternoon temperatures a little bit lower. But just how much lower will they be? Coming up in a bit, Dylan Federico is back talking about our forecast heading through the weekend and the potential for those strong to severe storms. Stay with us.
And we're taking a look outside right now in El Paso, a massive dust storm moving through down there. Visibility's pretty low. So this is some pretty impressive video. You can see the wind shaking that camera in the background as well. So we'll continue to monitor that situation, but it's kind of the same story around the rest of Texas. It's hot, it's dry, and we've got a dust storm down there along the border as well. And looking around the country, it's pretty warm today, definitely looking like spring, but here in Texas, we're the hottest in the United States. Here's where we stand right now as of 3:30. Del Rio, 104, have upper 90s from Austin to San Antonio and Abilene. And here in North Texas, we're in the lower 90s at the moment. A lot of the reason why we haven't gotten close to 100 as of right now is because of that humidity. Dew points are high, that muggy air putting a cap on our temperatures. And even though we're not near 100 temperature-wise, it feels like it regardless with that higher humidity. Around the rest of the area, have Mineral Wells checking in at 100. So is Meridian here in the metroplex, lower 90s. And then we have some 80s back off to the east. But factoring in that humidity, feels like 100 here in the metroplex. And if you know anybody up in Sherman, check in with them. It feels like 115 up there this afternoon. Another issue that we are dealing with, though, is poor air quality. Right now, air quality unhealthy for those that are sensitive. And we're also dealing with allergies as well. Mold, grass quite high at the moment, along with that tree pollen and the pollution just making it even worse with all of that. So for the rest of today, temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, mixture of sun and clouds out there. It'll be a warm evening as well, with temperatures in the 80s. When you wake up tomorrow morning, starting off the day in the mid 70s, so a warm May start to your day. And tomorrow afternoon, we're back into the lower 90s. I wouldn't rule out a isolated shower or storm tomorrow as well. And rain chances will increase as we head into the weekend. A bit of a pattern change. So that hot area of high pressure over the Gulf, this is going to move off to the east a bit. We're going to see a strong storm system developing over the Rockies. This will be diving down this weekend. Out ahead of it, severe weather expected to break out across much of the plains and potentially into the Ohio River Valley as well. Significant multi-day severe weather potential there. Locally here in North Texas, the rain chances start tomorrow, just a stray shower or storm. But as we head into the weekend, rain chances do ramp up, and so does the severe weather risk as well. We're going 20% Friday afternoon, especially to the west. But Saturday is the day that I'm watching for our greatest chance for some strong storms as storms light up along the dry line. And this continues into Saturday, into Sunday and into Monday as well. Very typical late May setup with that dry line off to the west, storms firing up along it each afternoon, and then those storms moving eastward each day. And this pattern does look to continue into early next week as well. But not just here, but also across much of the plains and over into the Mississippi River and Ohio River Valley. So a large chunk of the middle of the United States going to be under that severe threat well into early next week. And all modes of severe weather will be possible: tornadoes, damaging winds, hail. But once again, this is not unusual this time of the year or anything like that. And by the way, no expecting this pattern to continue. Above average rainfall for much of the plains, including here in North Texas. By the way, we're well above average for this time of the year with rain, nearly 6 inches at DFW. And by the way, our lakes are running way higher as well. Lake Texoma, 17 feet above average at the moment. So no drought issues here in North Texas. And we're going to get more opportunities for rain. This is great news as we approach the summer months and we dry out. But over the next several days, a stray shower or storm for Thursday. Storms are back in the forecast, though, as we head into the weekend as well. 20% on Friday. Saturday looking like the stormiest day right now. 40% chance of some storms that day, some of which could be on the strong to severe side. So make sure you have the WAP handy just in case any warnings do get issued. And we do stay active heading into Sunday and into early next week as well. 30% Sunday, Monday 30% once again. Any of those days, some strong to severe storms certainly possible. Once again on Tuesday, there is a lower chance for some storms. We'll have a cold front moving through that day. And behind it, we turn sunny and dry heading into the middle parts of next week. And we actually see our temperatures dip a few degrees as well, from the lower 90s late this week into the upper 80s early next week. And we'll see you during the 4.
Fox 4 is here for you. Online now at fox4news.com and streaming free on Fox Local. Stay forewarned. Stay with Fox 4.